Let's find out what lies ahead for Queensland and also for WA. Miram Bradbury is Senior Meteorologist at the Bureau of Meteorology. Miram, welcome. So let's start with Queensland then. More storms are forecast, aren't they? Will they be as bad as the ones Queensland had yesterday?
Look, at this stage, we are expecting the risk of severe storms through today across much of northeast New South Wales and southeast Queensland. But the risk of those high-end hazards, by which I mean the giant-sized hail, is a little bit reduced compared to yesterday. It's not out of the question if we do get storms that get the strength and the power that they need, but more likely, we're only likely to see the large hail, which is the 2 to 5 centimetre hail. So it's by no means a situation where Queenslanders should grow complacent. Severe storms are still expected today across much of the southeast, but the risk of those really, really large hailstones is not as high as it was yesterday.
What about the wind and the rainfall though?
Definitely looking at some damaging winds and locally heavy falls that could lead to flash flooding with any storms that do develop. Any storms that develop, severe or not, can produce some heavy downpours and some small hail, but where we see those severe storms developing, that's where we'll issue the warnings, and that's when you do really need to be aware of that wind and rain risk as well. So the advice, as always, is to just keep an eye on the warnings page on your app, wherever you're getting your warnings from, to stay on top of that through the rest of today.
And will these storms impact the same broad area of the southeast of the state?
Unfortunately, that is the case. It's the same environment, the same heat, the same moisture is in that area, which means we're seeing a very similar setup today to what we had yesterday, even though we're not expecting those storms to be quite as intense. So it's really covering that southeast Queensland area, including parts of the Wide Bay and Burnett and southern Capricornia, but pushing down into northeast New South Wales as well.
Okay. And heat is really a feature today, isn't it? As you say, how hot is it predicted to get?
Yeah, we are expecting some very, very warm conditions across much of the east, much of central Australia as well, but temperatures pushing well up to the mid to high 30s, if not low 40s across inland parts of Queensland and New South Wales. We're seeing severe heat waves, severe to locally extreme heat waves across parts of Queensland at the moment. Really just telling the story that heat it's not just one hot day, it's been hanging around for a few days now and is likely to linger for a few days yet.
Right, well, I was going to ask you how long the severe weather is set to last, another few days?
Yes, unfortunately, it does look as though the stormy weather, the warm weather will continue for much of Queensland and the other parts of the country over the coming days. Potentially we'll see an easing towards the end of the week, but we'll have to play it by ear at this stage.
Okay, let's look to the west now. Tropical cyclone Fina, we heard, just been downgraded to a Cat 1. It made landfall in the far north coast of Western Australia. We just heard from our reporter in Kununurra a few moments ago. Is it unusual for a cyclone to make landfall twice, Miriam?
It's actually not unusual. A lot of Australia's coastline is pretty complicated. It has offshore islands, it has little inlets, it has little fjords, you'd almost call them. It sort of zigzags in and out. So seeing a tropical cyclone that potentially makes multiple points of landfall during the course of its life is not entirely unheard of. But this is certainly a very strong system. It's certainly very early in the tropical cyclone season, and it is certainly impacting our communities up in the northwest very hard.
And what's Fina expected to do from here?
Well, as you said, we've seen Tropical Cyclone Fina downgraded to a Category 1 system. We're expecting the system to continue weakening through today as it moves across those inland areas of northern Western Australia, weakening back to a tropical low pressure system later today. It is still expected to bring that risk of damaging winds, potentially locally destructive winds close to the centre of the system. Heavy rainfall is still a risk as well for communities across the northern Kimberley. So it's really still a time to be aware of what this system is doing, but it is moving towards the end of its journey now, I guess you could say.